Kansas City. Keep your eye on Kansas City. I said they're going to move up to get a high-end player. And I thought it would be Bailey, the rush end. Instead, it was the corner from LSU, Lane. So my take in Kansas City is they had, when you're a really good team, like Philadelphia moved up and Kansas City, they don't have a lot of needs. They have specific needs. That's how you know you're a good team. You have specific needs. The Chiefs needed a running back, Kenneth Walker free agency, and a cornerback, got him last night, and a defensive tackle, Chris Jones, based on his career, worst year as a pro in the last 5 or 6. They got a defensive tackle. You want to make a handshake bet, J-Mac, for another stake? I got you on the Ty Simpson draft pick that the edge will be what the Kansas City Chiefs target in the second round. And I looked this morning, 7 of them that people like, and they're going to get one of them. So when you're well run and you've got the Andy Reid coach and Spags and Brett Veach and Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce, you're looking for specific needs, not a zillion picks. By the way, the Seahawks needed one thing specifically, running back. They got it. Seahawks are good. Now they're going to go get probably a corner and a defensive lineman. Good teams need specific things. That's Philadelphia. So I also like what Philadelphia did. So Philadelphia, I said this all week, they had 8 picks. There's not 8 guys in this draft that can make the Eagles roster. They're too stacked. So what did Philadelphia do? A.J. Brown's going to be going to the Patriots. We've talked about this for 2 years. So they've got their number 1, Devontae Smith. They go get Green Bay's number 3 receiver, Wicks. They move up to get Mekhi Lemon, a very legit number 2, day 1 in the NFL.
Yeah. So here's my take on the Eagles and the Chiefs. I've been turning this over in my head a lot since the draft wrapped up. Obviously, when you're a franchise like the Kansas City Chiefs and the Philadelphia Eagles, since Colin brought up Philly too, but right now we're zeroing in on Kansas City, you've been so elite and have assembled such strong rosters over the years that there's always this expectation, this lingering sense that they're about to pull off something major. There's always some big move on the horizon, right? And last year, the offensive lineman they landed in the draft, his name is slipping my mind at the moment, the fact that he dropped to the Chiefs had people saying, this could be the best selection in the entire draft. They were saying this guy easily could have gone in the top 3, but because he tore his patellar tendon or something, he fell. So the Chiefs ended up with a player that in any other scenario would never have been available where they picked. Essentially, they grabbed a top 5 talent at the bottom of the first round. Everyone was hyped about it because you're getting someone you'd normally never have access to. I remember the universal excitement around that. The Eagles have had a few similar cases. Jalen Carter is probably the most recent example. Then in 2024, Cooper DeJean and Mitchell, everyone was saying, I can't believe both of those guys fell. And if you recall, Micah Parsons, oh my gosh, I can't believe the Eagles got him. I tease that feeling of disbelief. But not every draft can be like that. Not every year will bring that kind of magic. I've even seen discussions asking whether the Chiefs were the biggest winners of the first round. No, they weren't. Neither were the Eagles. Neither were the Rams. And that's perfectly fine. You can't be the big winner every single year, every single trade, every single draft. That's just not how it works. I know we all want to cater to Chiefs fans, but at least you can count on me to be honest and level-headed. So, look, I think their moves are fine because the Chiefs clearly want to upgrade their defense. But I still stand by my original take that they should have gone offense. I wanted them to secure a truly elite weapon. Colin was talking about Malik Neighbors recently, calling him a bona fide day 1 starter, with his YAC ability and speed. His comparison is Amon-Ra St. Brown. I would have loved that for Patrick Mahomes. Brian Thomas Jr., too. We're looking at the next phase of the careers of Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson. I sound like a broken record because I believe this so strongly. I'm telling you, since not everyone agrees with me, go watch highlights of Patrick Mahomes from 2019, 2020, 2021. Go watch Josh Allen from 2020, 2021. Look at the way they moved then. Look at the way they threw the ball. It's different. You can see it plainly. They are fundamentally not the same athletes at this stage of their careers. So don't tell me, oh, now that they've added a running back, their offense is completely fixed and fantastic. I mean, sure, will it help them? Absolutely. A healthier offensive line will certainly help. But the idea of bringing in a genuine go-to piece, I've said this before, Patrick Mahomes, from my perspective, needs a new security blanket. He needs that reliable target, that true go-to weapon. It's not Xavier Worthy. It's not Rashee Rice. It's no longer Travis Kelce. It's not Kenneth Walker. So that, to me, was the opportunity for the Chiefs. What they could have gotten, especially when they were already drafting artificially high, at pick 6, because they're not really a team that should be picking that early. You had the chance to get Mahomes a weapon for the next 5, 6, 7, 8 years, essentially until he retires. You could have drafted a potentially elite offensive piece that would likely last beyond Mahomes' prime. That's a pretty fantastic opportunity. Honestly, if we're being serious, they went defense, and I have to ask, did you need to use the 6th overall pick on a defensive player, especially one you've already moved on from? I don't know. And I think we saw this with the older generation. Everyone talks about how Tom Brady played forever, but he needed offensive weapons. He needed higher caliber talent around him as he aged. Even when he won with the Buccaneers, they had Gronk, Antonio Brown, Mike Evans. That wasn't some ragtag group on offense. It wasn't. So personally, I would have preferred to see Mahomes get more support. I would have been genuinely excited for him to get one of those guys considered day one offensive impact players, whether it's Carnell Tate, whether it's Jeremiah Love. I would have loved to see what Andy Reid could do with Brian Thomas Jr. I just think the opportunity was there. You're leaning on Andy Reid and Mahomes. You're leaning on their magic. Their magic is synergistic. When you add the right piece to Andy and Mahomes, the result is greater than the sum of its parts. That's not the case on defense with Spags. And don't get me wrong, Spags is my favorite defensive coordinator. But it's not synergistic. He's excellent at coaching players up, developing talent, and he's fantastic. I absolutely love Spags. But it's not the same as when you drop a high-quality offensive player into Andy Reid and Mahomes' laps. That's a rocket ship. Plain and simple. And there are plenty of teams right now building some pretty impressive offenses. You could say, well, we're building a defense to slow them down. And my response is, your offense needs to keep pace. Your offense needs to keep up. And your offense hasn't been keeping up these last few years. Yes, you won in 2023. Yes, you made the Super Bowl in 2024. But deep down, you know it didn't look the same. You know it. And now that some time has passed, you really know it. You scored 19 points in regulation of that Super Bowl. Yes, you ended up winning because you're great, because you have Andy, Mahomes, Kelce, etc. But you were living on a prayer. You know it. And again, adding a running back doesn't magically make everything fine. It's not like, well, now we're good. Everything's great. The pendulum is always swinging. Offense, defense, offense, defense. We've definitely swung toward defense over the last few years, which means around the corner, it's going to swing back toward offense. It would have been interesting to see if the Chiefs could get ahead of that curve. So yeah, that's just where I'm at right now. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you all think about how the Kansas City Chiefs approached the draft? There were plenty of Chiefs fans in the live stream. My go to KC fan, Sean, shout out to Sean. He wasn't happy about this. And he knows Kansas City extremely well. He's been a season ticket holder for ages. Locked in, dialed in, huge Mahomes fan. He wasn't too thrilled. Other Chiefs fans in the comments were happy, excited. But this is one of those moves where you just have to wait and see how it ages. Like I said, not every move for the Chiefs, the Eagles, etc., is going to be this automatic, no doubt grand slam where you can't believe they pulled it off. That's just not how it works. But let me know your thoughts. I read every single comment, whether you agree with me or disagree. Either way, let's get into some discussions. Let's have some debates. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. Please do consider subscribing. We're building an amazing community here, and I would genuinely love to see you become part of it. I want to build something we all feel connected to. Something we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, it really helps with visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much.